Going back to regulation, I believe that one of the differences is that autonomous mobility or robo-taxis would probably be regulated at the federal level rather than at the state level, which means there will be 50 separate regulators. After all, since autonomous cars will be traveling from one state to another, federal legislation is really what it should be. That, in my opinion, will hasten the transition to autonomous taxi networks. Yes, and I do think that's why experts and investors are beginning to predict how that will affect the Tesla model. If we're correct, it will push their gross margins up into the 60s from the current mid-teens. Because, well, autonomous taxi networks and robot taxis are SaaS models. Additionally, I believe that more and more people are watching films of the humanoid robot performing various tasks that we didn't believe were feasible. Its hand dexterity improves significantly. Well, I believe that whenever two businesses come together, it takes some time for the integration to happen. Therefore, we would assume that it will be delayed if there is a competitive dynamic from those two firms related with autonomous. China is undoubtedly going to be a bigger competitor for EVs. To stop it from happening here in the United States, we already have very high tariffs in place. We'll see what transpires with the administration, I guess. Elon Musk isn't concerned about competition, in my opinion. In the case of Tesla, he is significantly reducing the cost curves for his own business. He's also not concerned about forfeiting the EV tax credits, I guess. He is not in need of them. Without them, he will make money, Tesla will make money. There is more to Tesla's remarkable success than merely watching from the sidelines. With the most recent information on Tesla, stock price targets, innovation, and all things Elon Musk, Seeking Alpha is the one-stop shop for Tesla bulls and those with an eye for finding the next big thing in the stock market. Our channel may receive a commission if a customer makes a purchase after clicking on the affiliate links in the description. Yes, it is in a sense, it is natural. However, I believe it was turbocharged during coup. Many people, particularly younger ones, would not fulfill the accreditation requirements, and they were learning about new businesses, investing themselves, and attempting to understand the nature of these new technologies. Additionally, they discovered private businesses to which they had little or no access. They came to us and said, how is it, we don't have enough, we don't make enough money, $250,000 per year. I think it is, and we don't have $1 million in net worth to become accredited and have access to these, incredible technologies early in their lifetimes. Because of that, I believe, and because I know we started our venture fund for that reason. Can you assist us in resolving that issue? Yes, it is the reason we established our venture fund. People can have access to SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic, XAX, and more for as little as $500. It doesn't have any carry. I believe that to have occurred. We have a lot in common. It was at a conference that Rebecca and Charlie Roberts, our VC effort leader, met, and we simply thought, okay, we're both going at this from in a little bit of a different way, from different angles. However, since democratization is still in its infancy, let's both make sure to support it. Well, if you look at our fund's performance since the election, they've performed far better than the market, the Mag 7, and so on. Therefore, I believe that the market is starting to indicate that this administration will encourage creative approaches. Anything that will boost our economy's productivity and speed up its expansion. We believe that deregulation will play a significant role in that. Well, tax breaks and tax rate reductions. You say something about maybe the reduction in government expenditure initiatives. We believe that government expenditure over the long run is equivalent to taxation in one way or another. The debt must be paid either by raising taxes now or later, or essentially by inflating the debt away. And so we believe that will be really beneficial. This push to improve government efficiency will, in turn, limit the types of tax increases that have occurred in recent years and possibly even continue to reduce taxes, which will benefit the private sector at the expense of government inefficiencies. Well, take into account the source. Therefore, my response may differ from President-elect Trump's. But in terms of accelerating growth, I believe that the most crucial thing this administration can do is to ensure that any tax rate cuts are retroactive to January 1, 2025. because the Reagan administration taught us that if tax cuts are postponed or phased in, businesses and individuals will wait for lower tax rates, which can hamper economic activity. Apart from that, deregulation is crucial. I believe that the FTC's prohibition of M&A is one of the reasons venture capital and tactics in the innovation sector, particularly in the health sciences, have struggled so greatly in recent years. That will be different. Price discovery will eventually take place as smart buyers bid for these cutting-edge businesses. We will discover their true value. It's been a while since this occurred. As a result, we believe that private enterprises will experience liquidity events into the public sphere, which will also become crucial. Well, it depends. Any company that wants to grow rapidly, particularly if they have a higher fixed cost base, the robotics industry is one example of this, would likely grow faster in the public market if, once more, the regulation is increased and the red tape associated with going public begins to disappear. Therefore, we believe it would be great to have both markets functioning effectively, one supported by more M&A activity when the FTC's leadership changes, and the other one simply enjoying the reduced red tape that comes with less regulation. We believe that this administration will be very pro-business and will continue to be so, which will be a major factor in the economy's increased growth rate over the coming years. I believe that he is committed to this because his own businesses have encountered several regulatory constraints and challenges, and he simply knows that if he were to remove any of those barriers, he could alter the world much more quickly than he has already done. No, I believe that Tesla has the safest automobiles in the world if you listen to Elon Musk and prioritize safety and customer satisfaction. However, over the past 4 years, regulators have concentrated on nearly every accident, and death in a Tesla vehicle, rather than the other 40,000 accidents. Therefore, I believe that he recognizes the importance of regulation and the importance of consumer safety. That's something we won't overlook, that's something we won't elect. However, there is such a thing as overly restrictive regulations. According to numbers I've seen, restrictions implemented by various ministries have reduced real GDP by 6 percentage points over the past 4 years. That needs to change, I'd guess. However, are you aware of anyone else who is as optimistic about Tesla? That would be Alpha, today's sponsor. The greatest online source of pro-Tesla news is Seeking Alpha. To learn about the most recent Tesla offering, pricing goals, innovation, and everything Elon Musk has to offer, click the affiliate link in the paragraph below. There is a link to a very exceptional offer in the description. As you can imagine, I'll tell you when it comes to that. Tesla is providing us with a great deal of comfort. We've done the research, you know. I don't believe many analysts have conducted the type of autonomous mobility research that we have. We have conducted the research because we have a longer investment time horizon. I believe that as we get at cab, an increasing number of individuals